So maybe you have to relive. Maybe you're still in that phase now. I don't know, because you couldn't do it as a child. But now you have to.
Well, that was something that I did a lot in my 20s. You know,
Okay.
and in a way that was a theme of my last album.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Now it's just kind of an integrated part of my process. You know, but.
Do you know when that when you had the feeling that the word child was incorporated in who you are?
Yeah, I was about 26 years old, 25 or 26. It was right before I quit smoking. I realized that I started smoking when I was 12 years old, and one day I was sitting and I realized that it wasn't me smoking, it was me feeding a cigarette to a baby, because there were all these needs that hadn't been addressed, that the baby had, and that the way that I, as a 12-year-old, dealt with it was by giving that kid a cigarette. Yeah. To ease. And at that time, as a kid, I thought that was the way I helped myself. But then, as a 25-year-old, it wasn't working anymore, and now the baby was all kind of blackened and dried out like a piece of charcoal, and I thought it was almost dead. I had this kind of flash, like, oh my gosh, my baby's almost dead. I've been like suffocating it for 15 years, and suddenly I realized, oh my gosh, I got to take care of this in a different way. And that was kind of how I stopped smoking. After that, I said, I can't really. Once I thought about it like that, so I was feeding a cigarette to a baby, because I started smoking as a child. That was when I let go of cigarettes. That was my first gesture of being consciously aware that there was something in me that was childlike that I needed to nurture.
Is there maybe a song that deals with this theme? Because I think.
Not really on this.
No, but I was
really
thinking.
here.
I was thinking I had some. Maybe you can explain to me. I don't know if you want to, but I'm really puzzled by the song. Her eyes are underneath the ground. I wrote down death of a mother. I don't know. Is it?
Originally, I thought the song was about my relationship with my mother.
Yeah.
And then I started to think, maybe this is a song I wrote about my mother's relationship with her mother.
How come? Can you explain?
Well, I think a lot about this idea about within me. There's this sort of fantasy I go off in my mind where I think that my two eyes, I'm looking out, and I'm kind of the end point to a line of life that sort of leapfrogs back to the beginning of time, you know, that there's just a long line of people that life was passed from generation to generation, and it never stopped. So maybe in a way I could, as a kind of an exercise, I could dream of embodying all of those experiences and the feelings of everyone that came before me, that could be a part of my vocabulary, my expressive vocabulary, or a source of inspiration for me as I'm performing, carrying me through things. And I think with Her Eyes Underneath the Ground, it's a song I actually wrote with my brother. It's just, you know, when you're writing something, you draw things out of a kind of weird, mysterious swamp almost, and you don't know where things come from, but there's little bits and pieces here and there just as kind of lights or triggers that carry you towards a theme or a little flame. That's the idea of this song. It's quite open.
Yeah, because you were saying initially you started as a song maybe about your mom. When did you get the idea that maybe it was about her relationship with her mom? When did it? When you sang it or read through it?
And then my third thought was that it's maybe it's about our relationship with the world. I mean, it's our relationship with the ecology.
Yeah.
Often when I sing this live, that's what fills me, is a sense of a dialogue about our mother, and that's come through a few songs. Also on the EP, there's a song called Sing For Me, which is all about finding our mother. It's actually a song I wrote right after 9/11, Sing For Me. No one's asked me about it. I think people think it's too obscure, but I wrote it after 9/11, after I watched those two fountains come down. And there's a line in the song that says, you know, saw her fall like a fountain of dust, and it was like watching your mother fall in a way. It was like you were in a crisis, the child finds the mother dying.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of, sometimes that seems to be a metaphor for where we're at in our process in our relationship to the environment. you know.